unmerited favor for Kenny McPeak. She just broke her maiden at Kentucky down, stepping up to a longer trip, and she tipped her hand in the past, going a mile and an eighth here at Keeneland. The added distance was going to be potentially her game, and she showed us that last time out, pulling off that nose victory. So we know, again, that she can run well on this turf course, doing so a year ago during the fall meet, a daughter of Summerfront, who just broke her maiden trying winners for the very first time here this afternoon. And then finally, the number one horse, Good Game, another big price, 27-1. A horse that tried Kentucky Downs. I'm just going to chuck that race out, not worry about it, because prior to that, she had been running well at Churchill and Ellis, coming back to a more conventional turf course setup, which she has run over in the past. Her first turf race of her career was April of this year, and she finished a solid fourth at a price of 12-1. So seeking some prices in a very wide open race, 6, 9, and 1 in race number 7 to start the late pick 4. Good luck.
The horses are entering the track for Keeneland's 7th race, the Woodstock Allowance. Fillies and mares 3 and up. Mile and 3/16 over the turf listed good. The rail at 0 feet. Scratch 3, Faith Understood. Also scratch 13 through 15, the also eligibles. Double and pick 3 wagering start of the late pick 4. Post time in 5 minutes.
Fillies and mares warming up for race number 7 here at Keeneland. Vina Aranya is the number 2 horse, 3-1 on the tote board. It's been a long time since we've seen this filly race. You have to go a year plus ago to find her last race, which was her lone victory in her career, and that was her U.S. debut. A filly by Make Believe, who's the son of Mokfi out of a Teofilo First Dam, but she looks fit and ready to go out of the Jack Sisterson barn. She's second choice right now at odds of 3-1. That is the number 2 horse with Johnny Velasquez in the saddle. And then the number 6 horse, Haystack, the mare that I like in here, daughter of Warfront, from a nice family, a filly that has made over $229,000. She's going to be offered up at the Keeneland November sale, hip number 99, where the market moves coming up in November. Haystack, part of that market moving. Hip number 99, competing here in race number 7. Less than 3 minutes away from post time. Good luck.
The horses have reached the starting gate for Keeneland's 7th race, the Woodstock. Start of the late pick 4. Moving into line race 7. Unmerited Favor comes forward. Freak City, Sheila's Lion. Haystack and Fleetingly next, moving into line. Heartspin will be the last one. Coming forward now. Goes in there at the post. They're off. Haystack ducked in at the start, but now straightens course. In the meantime, Anel and El Jury come forward. Cha-Cha-Chucka is right there to their inside. El Jury has the early lead, has it by a half length. Steadily starts to move by as they head on to the first turn. In the meantime, it is Sheila's Lion, who's pretty determined to move up on the outside now, right alongside the leader into second. Around the outside of Anel in third. Haystack is fourth up on the outside, followed by Cha-Cha-Chucka, who's fifth back toward the inside. Vina Arana between horses, a lane off the rail in sixth, running a half dozen lengths off the lead. Into the first turn, Fleetingly going to be wide in seventh. Good Game back to the inside is eighth. Unmerited Favor, one lane off the rail around the first turn in ninth, and running nearly 10 lengths off the lead, but a gap of 2 more lengths back to Freak City next to last, and Heartspin trails 24.21 seconds, the time for the opening quarter. Onto the backstretch, Sheila's Lion on top, leads it now by a length and a half to El Jury, and second a length. Anel is third down toward the inside by a head. Haystack is fourth, taking third, and now challenging for second to the far outside, midpoint of the backstretch. And then Cha-Cha-Chucka next to the inside, running along in fifth, 5 lengths off the lead. Vina Arana alongside her in the sixth position, followed by Good Game, and then Fleetingly toward the outside, who's 7 from the front. 48.53 seconds was the time for the first half mile. On to the far turn they go. Sheila's Lion, El Jury begins to draw alongside. Haystack joins them. Haystack, though, has to go to the far outside around the turn. Third, a length off the front pair. And Nell is fourth, back toward the inside. Vina Arana is in fifth. Fleetingly a wide 6/4 mile to go. Haystack is moving up on the outside of El Jury to challenge for the lead. And then Anel behind horses. Now here's Vina Arana. Here's Vina Arana moving forward. Up to challenge. Unmerited Favor's going to run late. And Nell's diving to the inside. And Haystack is still there. Unmerited Favor has the clear running. Unmerited Favor just runs right on by and wins it. It was Fleetingly who rallied up on the outside to grab second.
What a scramble down the lane here on the turf course at Keeneland Racecourse. It is Unmerited Favor, the 3-year-old filly, besting this group of fillies and mares here this afternoon under Jose Ortiz. She gets through in the split on the far side and is going to kick on right there. She makes the lead, and that is going to be enough for right here, I should say, on the near the nearest us, splitting horses in between getting the victory. Once she got that split, she put together a strong effort. There she is in full flight to the wire. Daughter of Summerfront for Shamrock Stables, MJM Racing, and others out of the Kenny McPeak barn. 9-2 in the end in race number 7.
Unofficial results of Keeneland's 7th race. Number 9, Unmerited Favor first. Objection sign posted. Hold all tickets. Unofficial result 9-11-8-2. The jockey of the 11 fleetingly has lodged a claim of foul against the unofficial winner, number 9, Unmerited Favor, alleging interference in the stretch. Hold all tickets. Objection pending concerning the top 2 in the unofficial result. Program view to the left, head on to the right. Hold all tickets. No change. The result will stand as is. 9-11-8-12. No change. In the winner's circle for Keeneland's 7th race, the Woodstock, number 9, Unmerited Favor, owned by the Shamrock Stables LLC of Rob Hutcherson, owned by MJM Racing of Michael J. Mackin, owned by Kevin Pollard, trainer Kenny McPeak, and the jockey Jose Ortiz. Unmerited Favor, 3-year-old filly by Summerfront, out of Going for Broke by Blame, bred in Kentucky by Waterford Stables Incorporated. Mile and 3/16 over the turf, listed good, 1 minute 56.02 seconds. In the winner's circle, the Woodstock Trophy presentation to the connections of unmerited favor. Race 7 results official. 9-11, 8-12, the official results. Keeneland's 8th race upcoming. Main track is fast. Race 8 finishes in the short stretch of the first wire. Double and pick 3 wagering starts the last of the day's rolling pick 3. Scratch the 10, trust but verify. Scratch 13, Fuzzbuster. And scratch 15, Swiss Army Knife. A reminder, the 14 Federal Agent draws into the race. Contrary to the program, the jockey Adam Beskica. 14 Federal Agent draws in. Jockey Adam Beskica. One other note, a reminder, number 3, Highly Connected, contrary to the program, is a Ridgeling. 3, Highly Connected is a Ridgeling. Race 8 coming up.
Less than 17 minutes away from race number 8, the start of the late pick 3 here at Keeneland. As we take a look at this group of 2-year-old maiden special weight event runners, 1.16 will be the distance on the fast main track. And I'm going to go to the number 9 horse in Tis Authority for Flatland Racing Stable and trainer Chris Hartman. This is a colt that they bought back in April at a 2-year-old and training sale down in Florida for $825,000. He's a son of Tis the Law, that multiple grade 1 winner out of a Keeneland first dam. So you've got 2-turn pedigree on both top and bottom, high purchase price. Recently, back in April, he comes out of a race that was very quickly run, and he was part of that pace early on and then just flattened out late. A race that was run on the 12th of September at Churchill Downs. So I think that there's plenty of upside here, and we'll be talking more about that race from September 12th that Tis Authority comes out of next week, because we've got a few other runners that you're going to want to take a look at moving forward. And I think this is going to be a big opportunity to see how Tis Authority does and how live that race is going to turn out to be. I am predicting on down the line from a race on down the line here today that's going to turn out to be a potentially very productive race. So I'm going to take a shot with the number 9 horse, Tis Authority, getting the opportunity to go 2 turns here today with that pedigree. Brave Force, the number 1 horse, is a runner for Jack Sisterson. Johnny Velasquez in the saddle. Here's another one that's got a 2-turn pedigree. He's by one of the top stallions in the game in Gun Runner. He's out of a King Mambo first dam. There have been plenty of 2-year-old winners that have come from this first dam, and she has been a very productive mare through the years, the brood mare of this Gun Runner colt. That is Brave Force. And they tried him on the grass at Kentucky Downs, ran an even race. He was the favorite that day, but shows up here today on the dirt, colt by Gun Runner. 2 turns, race under his belt, inside draw, first wire finish. I think that you can take a look at Brave Force with some confidence here in race number 8. And then finally, the 11 horse Vino Vici for trainer Todd Pletcher. He comes out of a race that is one of those that would be predicted to be a live race from earlier this summer at Saratoga. He was 3rd in a maiden special weight event that was taken by Big Dom, who we saw run in the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, and put together a solid effort out of that maiden win and facing grade 1 company. And yet another race, much like Tis Authority, where we're going to see Dr. Kapoor, who was 2nd in that race, running next week here at Keeneland. So pay attention. There's always lessons to be learned in any racing moving forward, and just trying to get a gauge and recognizable names and races that you've seen. But I think that this is going to be a very key one for racing next week in the very immediate here at Keeneland Racecourse. Good luck in race number 8. Does start our final pick 3 of the afternoon.
The horses are entering the track for Keeneland's 8th race, the Gunston Hall. Maiden special weight for 2-year-olds, a mile and a 16th over the fast main track. Race will finish in the short stretch at the first wire. Scratch the 10, Trust But Verify. Scratch 13, Fuzzbuster. And scratch 15, Swiss Army Knife. A reminder, the 14 draws into the race. Federal agent, the jockey will be Adam Beschitza. Final reminder, number 3, Highly Connected, is a Ridgeling. Double and pick 3 wagering, post time in 6 minutes.
Two-year-olds warming up for their mile and a 16th journey on the main track. First wire finish, short stretch reminder here for race number 8 with less than 5 minutes to post. And here's a look at a clocker pick from this morning on today at Keeneland. Beale Street Boy for Midway Racing trainer Ben Colebrook, colt by Street Sense, who's been working locally throughout his preparations for his two-year-old campaigns thus far, his two-year-old races thus far, I should say. But his most recent workout on the 27th of September, 47-4, the time in which he was clocked in working. He gets blinkers on here today. Ben Colebrook, good with young horses. Here's a son of Street Sense that was purchased for $150,000 earlier this year at a 2-year-old in training sale. He's 8-1 on the board right now. It's a complex puzzle in front of us with these 2-year-olds going long. 4 minutes to post. Race number 8, start of the late pick 3.
The horses have reached the starting gate for Keeneland's 8th race, the Gunston Hall. Moving into line, race 8. Highly Connected comes forward. Further Ado nudged into line. 'Tis Authority and Alghero walking up. Vino Vici and Super Caliber. Apollo 11. Super Caliber. Federal Agent will be the last one. Here's Timberline. Last one walking up. Goes in, first wire at the post. And they're off. Further Ado comes out running for the lead. Brave Force is there to the inside, and Ambassador Blue is also up close. There's 'Tis Authority toward the outside. Vino Vici on the extreme outside as they head into the first turn. His 5th here in the opening strides. Brave Force moves up the rail, takes the lead from Further Ado, who's second up on the outside by a half length. Ambassador Blue will go 3rd. Highly Connected 4th. Vino Vici 5th up on the outside. 'Tis Authority, a lane off the rail around the first turn, and 6th. Apollo 11 is 7th on his outside, running 5 lengths off the lead. Then a gap of 2 more lengths to Alghero, who travels 8th inside of Federal Agent in 9th. Super Caliber is 10th. Timberline is 11th. Beale Street Boy last of the 12. 23.17 seconds the time for the opening quarter. Brave Force leading Further Ado by 3/4 of a length. Midpoint of the backstretch. Ambassador Blue is racing in 3rd, 3 lengths off the lead. 3rd by just a neck. Vino Vici is 4th up on the outside. Apollo 11 a wide 5th to the far turn. And then Highly Connected comes next. It was 47.1 for the first half mile. 'Tis Authority is still running 7 lengths off the lead. Here's Further Ado. Takes aim midway on the far turn and comes after the lead and has the lead now by a neck. Further Ado takes the lead by 3/4 of a length. Brave Force is second toward the inside. 1/4 mile to go. Gap of 5 lengths. Vino Vici is racing along in the 3rd position. Apollo 11 is 4th, but 8 lengths off the lead as they turn into the short stretch. Then Ambassador Blue, 'Tis Authority, is still far back. Alghero a dozen lengths from the lead. And in the meantime, Further Ado is kicking on into the final furlong. 8 lengths to the good. Vino Vici a distant second now to Brave Force in 3rd. It is Further Ado well in front of the field. Irad Ortiz Jr. Further Ado wins it. It was Vino Vici who was across the line in the 2nd position, and then further back came Alghero, who made up a lot of ground, followed by Apollo 11.
Spendthrift Farm cannot be stopped this meet here at Keeneland Racecourse. Another impressive performance carrying the silks of Spendthrift Farm, and another impressive performance from one of their 2-year-olds, a son of Gunrunner. One of the most dominant 2-year-old races that we have seen this year. Super impressive. Well done to Brad Cox and Irad Ortiz Jr. Further ado, a name to remember moving forward following his first 2-turn effort and blowout victory here today at Keeneland.
Unofficial results of Keeneland's 8th race. Number 8, Further Ado, finished first. The 11, Vino Vici, second. Number 4, Algaro, third. The 12, Apollo 11, fourth. 8, 11, 4, 12, unofficial. In the winner's circle with a 20-length margin of victory to take race 8, the Gunston Hall, number 8, Further Ado, owned by the Spendthrift Farm of Eric Gustafson. Trainer Brad Cox, 2 wins today for jockey Irad Ortiz Jr. Further Ado, a 2-year-old son of Gunrunner out of Sky Dreamer by Sky Mesa, bred in Kentucky by John Oxley. Keeneland September graduate gets the mile in the 16th over the fast main track in 1 minute 43.52 seconds, and the results are official. 8, 11, 4, 12, the official results. In the winner's circle, the Gunston Hall Trophy presentation to the connections of Further Ado. Keeneland's ninth and featured race, the 31st running of the Sycamore Grade 2 coming up. Turf listed good, rail at 0 feet. Starts the last of the day's rolling doubles. Scratch number 3, Mercante, number 3, scratched.
Graded stakes action up next. Our featured event, the Grade 2 Sycamore Stakes, a $400,000 purse up for grabs. Mile and a half on the good listed turf course here this afternoon, and a very good group of runners for this marathon distance, 3-turn distance of a mile and a half, as they'll start on the backstretch and then make their way under the wire for the first time and complete the circuit once again to complete the mile and a half here at Keeneland. Safe Trip home, the number 2 horse, 9-1 on the board right now. Trying to catch this horse on the upward trend. You'll get a good price in these moments when you've got horses that are improving steadily and then come into a stakes race like this of this caliber at this point in his career. And trainer Doug Cowens is very good at getting these horses ready to go to the mile and a half distance, and that's clearly evident by what this horse has done in his last 4 starts. His first attempt at a mile and a half was back in the springtime. Ended up finishing 4th, beaten 6.5 lengths. Then he stashes him away for a bit, brings him back to Churchill Downs. He wins going a mile and 3/8, and then he goes over and wins the listed Colonial Cup Stakes in his most recent effort by 2.25 lengths. Now he's stepping up in class once again, and at 9-1, I think that he is primed to be a player on this scene as far as the mile and a half races that we have here at Keeneland Racecourse, whether it be right now, obviously in the fall, or come the springtime. So I'm trying to catch Safe Trip home on the ascend here in this division in today's Grade 2 Sycamore Stakes at this price of 9-1, because if he runs a huge race or wins this race, it'll be some time before we get 9-1 again. As far as the second choice, the number 4 horse, that is Utah Beach. We know what he's made of here at Keeneland Racecourse. This turf course brings out the best in him. It did so back in the spring when he won the Grade 2 Visit Lex Elkhorn Stakes. Coming from off the pace, he backed that up with another win in the Grade 3 Louisville. We have seen him go off form in his recent races. He did run in stiff competition in the Sword Dancer and then the Grade 2 Turf Cup at Kentucky Downs. But we've also seen this horse go off form and immediately find it again here at Keeneland Racecourse. So you've got to trust him on this surface at this distance, a son of English Channel with Jose Ortiz taking the call once again here this afternoon. And then finally, the number 9 horse, Golden Eye, a son of Hard Spun, who went a 2 and 1/16 mile journey down at Kentucky Downs. He flattened out a little bit, as most horses would be, going 2 miles and a 16th, and he ended up finishing 4th after making the lead. But the cutback in distance to a mile and a half, I think, will really benefit him. He's got form here at Keeneland. He won going a mile and a half a year ago in a second-level allowance race. Then they tried him on dirt in a Grade 2 at Santa Anita. And then it's taken some time to get back into form since going over to Kenny McPeak for his races out here in the Midwest and out on the East Coast at Colonial. But he's a contender at odds of 6-1. Another one that I think that we can see plenty of for years to come in these mile and a half races that we have here so often at Keeneland on the turf course. Great race coming up. It's our Grade 2 featured event, the Sycamore, up next here at Keeneland.
horses are entering the track for Keeneland's 9th and featured race, 31st running of the Sycamore Stakes, a grade 2 for 3-year-olds and up at 1.5 miles over the turf, listed good, the rail at 0 feet. Scratch 3, Mercante. This race starts the last of the day's rolling doubles. Post time is 6 minutes. Parading to the post for the Sycamore, number 1, Il Siciliano, owned by Corina Stable of Gustavo Ravel, trained by Antonio Sano. The jockey is Francisco Arrieta. 2, Safe Trip Home, races for PTK LLC of Thomas Hawhey, trained by Doug Cowens, the jockey Manny Esquivel. 3 is Scratched, 4, Utah Beach, owned by Jeffrey Amling and Marybelle Stable of Charles Noel, trained by Ignacio Correas, the jockey Jose Ortiz. 5, Grand Sonata, owned by the Whisper Hill Farm LLC of Mandy Pope, the trainer Todd Pletcher, the jockey Tyler Gaffleone. 6, Desvio, owned by the Stoneleigh Stables LLC of Cornelia Bonney, the Bonnie Rye Stable of Robert Bonney, trained by Madison Myers, the jockey John Velasquez. 7, Rayquist, owned by Cuyathi LLC of Joe McCloskey, trained by Tim Yaktine, the jockey James Graham. 8, San Siro, owned by the Andrew Farm of Richard Brody, Mount Mellick Farm of David Findlay, Ocean Reef Racing of William F. Painter, White Mountain Stables of Robert Malloy, Stonecrest Farm of Brian Reed, trained by Brendan Walsh, the jockey Frankie Dettori. 9, Golden Eye, owned by David Burnson LLC of David A. Burnson, owned also by John Stewart, trained by Kenny McPeak and the jockey Irad Ortiz Jr. 10, Ohana Honor, owned by West Point Thoroughbreds of Terry Findlay, Woodford Racing LLC of William S. Parrish Jr., owned also by Edward J. Hudson Jr. and Lynn Hudson, trained by Shug McGahee. Flavian Pratt will ride. Anglophile, number 11, races for LFG Racing LLC of Hunter Rankin, the trainer Brian Lynch, and the jockey Luis Saez. Post time, 3 minutes.
Here with trainer Nacho Correas, who sends out Utah Beach up next. First and foremost, how's the horse doing after the last race? Kind of seems like he loves it here at Keeneland.
Yeah, I mean, all his races here and have been all good. So I don't know what happened last time. I don't think that he got the trip. Hopefully he got it today.
But he loves 1.5 miles.
Oh, yeah, he loves that distance. The more distance, the better for him.
For you, how are you feeling? It was a couple of months ago that you announced that this is going to be your last fall meet. You're retiring in November. How's that feeling so far?
Well, I mean, I know I'm going to miss this a lot, and I'm looking forward to what it will come. But no doubt, I mean, Keeneland is home for me, so it's, I don't know, happy and sad. So, but I mean, I'm trying to enjoy whatever's left of the meet, and hopefully will be good for everybody.
I can understand that. Good luck here with Utah Beach, and thank you for the time.
Thank you very much.
But there was 8 of us that showed up, and I was lucky enough to be the guy they picked. That was 30 years ago. So I'm glad I went.
The horses have reached the starting gate for Keeneland's 9th and featured race, 31st running of the Grade 2 Sycamore. Moving into line 9th race. Safe Trip Home comes forward, along with Golden Eye. Utah Beach walks up. Here's Grand Sonata. Desvio comes forward, along with Ohana Honor. Anglophile will be the last one. Goes in, they're at the post. And they're off in the Sycamore. Ohana Honor from the outside and Utah Beach from the inside. These two show to the front of the opening strides as they head onto that far turn. It is Utah Beach with the lead. Utah Beach by just ahead. Ohana Honor is right alongside. Safe Trip Home is Dex toward the inside. Then Anglophile moving up from the 4th position now to challenge for 3rd. Golden Eye is going to be wide around that far turn the first time. Moves up into 5th. 4 lengths off the lead. Then a gap of 3 more lengths. Grand Sonata back toward the inside in 6th. Request alongside in 7th. San Siro travels wide around the turn. in the 8th position. Desvio is in 9th, and Il Siciliano is last of the 10, heading into the stretch for the first time. Just over a circuit to go after an opening quarter in 25.49 seconds. Utah Beach against the rail leads at 3/4 of a length. Ohana Honor is in second. Safe Trip Home third against the rail. Anglophile alongside. Golden Eye to the far outside. San Siro is threading the needle through some traffic as they head to the second of 3 turns. Goes from 5th to 4th, now to 3rd. As they enter the turn, they stack up 4 across the course at the front of the field. Opening half mile went in 50.94 seconds. All the while, Utah Beach hugs the rail, saves the ground, has the lead by 3/4 of a length. Ohana Honor is second, 3/4 of a length. Golden Eye wide again on the turn in third, though, within a length and a half of the lead as they hit the backstretch once again. Safe Trip Home is fourth, a half length. An Anglophile goes fifth. San Siro had moved up to third, lost some positions around the turn going wide, and now is in sixth spot toward the center of the course. Grand Sonata is in seventh toward the inside of that one. Ray Quist racing along in the 8th spot. And then Desvio in 9th, and then a gap of nearly 10 more lengths back to Il Siciliano. 6 furlongs, 1 minute 15.26 off the end of the backstretch. Utah Beach is still the leader. Golden Eye has lost some ground for the move onto the far turn. It is Utah Beach leading it by a length around the turn. Ohana Honor has been there since the start, still there is second, and then a gap of 2 more lengths to Safe Trip Home, who comes off the rail from third. Anglophile has to go wide to the top of the stretch in fourth. Grand Sonata is hugging the rail, looking for some running room, but still fifth, a quarter mile to go. Utah Beach to catch. Grand Sonata comes up the inside. Safe Trip Home comes from the outside. Ohana Honor is now in behind horses. Safe Trip Home coming after Utah Beach. Grand Sonata toward the inside. And then a late charge from Desvio down the center of the course. Safe Trip Home gets ahead in front. Desvio is running on from the outside. 34-1. Upset in the Sycamore. Desvio from deep in the pack for John Velasquez.
As we pick it up at this stage of the race from the quarter pole home, focus your attention on the 6, who's well off the pace, just looking to get out into the clear. You think this race is going to come down to Utah Beach and the number 2 horse, Safe Trip Home. Not so fast. It is the 6 finishing fastest of all at a huge number. Devesio for trainer Madison Myers, a son of Yoshida, picking up his first win here in 2025 and his 4th overall, creating a big upset in today's Grade 2 feature, the Sycamore Stakes.
Unofficial results of Keeneland's 9th and featured race. Number 6, Desvio, first. Number 2, Safe Trip Home, second. Number 4, Utah Beach, third. Number 10, Ohana Honor, fourth. 6-2-4-10, unofficial. Ninth race results official. 6-2-4-10, the official results. The upset winner of Keeneland's featured ninth race, 31st running of the Sycamore Stakes Grade 2, number 6, Desvio. Owned by Stoneleigh Stables, LLC of Cornelia Bonney, owned by the Bonney Rye Stable of Robert Bonney, the trainer, Madison Myers, the jockey, John Velasquez. Desvio, a 4-year-old gelded son of Yoshida out of Fitzrovia by Uncle Mo. The winner bred in Kentucky by Eliza St. George and Lee Mowbray. Keeneland January graduate. 2 minutes, 29.16 seconds, Desvio. Now the trophy presentation for the Sycamore Stakes, representing Anthem, Mr. Kevin Kide, Regional Vice President of Sales. He presents to the connections of Desvio.
Desvio springing the biggest upset in the history of the Grade 2 Sycamore Stakes for Madison Myers and jockey Johnny Velasquez. How easy was it to get him to switch off when some of those horses were a little aggressive out in front of you?
The first part was pretty easy, though, and Madison told me, but when you need to get going, you're going to have to ride him, though. He's not going to be an easy ride. So once I got to the 5/8 pole, I started, knocking at him. Got to the quarter pole, I put him to the clear, and he started running. He got to the little sooner, and he started waiting and said, no, buddy, come on, we got to keep running. But it was well done with the team, bringing him here. She told me the horse was ready today, and he was ready.
Sure was. Congratulations, Johnny.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Madison, to have the confidence in this horse, he'd won a stake for you in the Kent not long back, but to bring him here to Keeneland to run against this level of competition in a graded stakes race, what did you know about him that I guess the rest of us didn't know?
He's just been training better than he has in a while since around the time of the Kent. He tailed off a little bit there in the fall, and, we had done a lot of traveling with him and stuff, and sent him to the farm over the winter and just let him be a horse, and he's come back in. Rob Massey gets on him in the mornings, and he had him at his place over the winter, and he came back in and was just in super form. And a couple weeks ago, I'm looking for long races, and we're trying to figure out where you go this time of year. And he just said, if you're going to take a swing, now's the time, because this horse is better than he's ever been. So honestly, we had kind of a quiet, very quiet confidence coming here, because it is Keeneland and they don't give races away here. So
they sure don't. You earned them, and he earned it. It's such a whirlwind after you win a race of this magnitude, of graded stakes here, coming to the Keeneland Winner's Circle. How will you process what just happened here with Desvio and your team?
It's going to take a while. This is actually my home track. I'm from Lexington, and we're based in Middleburg, Virginia, and at Laurel Park. We've got a string there my husband has, and we kind of, move horses in and out of the training center and stuff. But this is going to take a while to sink in, I think, being from here and growing up going to Keeneland. And, yeah, go Sarah Spartans.
Congratulations, Desvio. Super impressive today. Again, springing the biggest upset in the history of the Grade 2 Sycamore right here at Keeneland Racecourse.
Thank you, Scott. Keeneland's 10th and final race upcoming, a $10,000 carryover for the Toyota Super High 5. The main track is listed fast. Scratch number 1, Atara, and scratch the 11, Miss L. Your attention, please. Keeneland's upcoming 10th and final race. Scratch the 2, Cowgirl Chic. Late scratch. Scratch the 2, Cowgirl Chic.
Race number 10 will wrap up the card on what has been a very, very exciting afternoon of racing. And don't forget about that Toyota Super High Five carryover coming into the nightcap from yesterday, over $10,000 to take a shot at in this starter allowance race going 6.5 furlongs. As Kurt mentioned, late scratch of the 2. So if you missed that late scratch of the 2-horse Cowgirl Chic, and the 1 was a previous scratch, as was the 11, puts the 3 down in post position number 1 as far as the post position assignments now with those scratches. I go to Bolt on the Rocks, the number 5 horse for Ruiz Racing and trainer Chris Hartman. She drew post 1 last time out, showed speed, faded. I think that she's a filly that's going to do better going 6.5 here today, not drawing post position number 1. And that race last time out was at Churchill Downs. This will be her first race here at Keeneland, but she's had a good year so far from 6 starts, winning half of those races, 3 victories, doing so between Oaklawn and a couple of wins at Churchill Downs. So we'll take a shot with Bolt on the Rocks, the daughter of Mick Ruiz's and Ruiz Family Racing's Bolt Doro, bred by Ruiz Racing. 6-1 again on Bolt on the Rocks. The number 8 horse to the outside, Brunch with Amy for trainer Joe Sharp, current favorite at 2-1. First off the claim for these connections, Joe Sharp having a career year, and this filly claimed for 50, shows up in a starter 50. She'd run well against starter 50 types going back to the few races in a short amount of time in June at Churchill Downs. So we know that she fits in amongst this level of competition. And again, to refer to Joe Sharp, her trainer, 20% win percentage off the claim, a very high percentage in these scenarios. Saez staying with this daughter of Bernardini. And then the number 4 horse, Rusuko for Carlos David, coming in from Monmouth. We'll see how she fares. She's run here in Kentucky in the past. Going back to June, she broke her maiden, or excuse me, she finished second while she was still a maiden in a maiden 50, but she broke her maiden going 6 furlongs at Monmouth Park on the 9th of August in a snappy time of 1:10-2. And her first try against winners, she couldn't quite hang that afternoon, but not disrespected. She was third on that occasion, and she's 9-2 right now with Irad taking the call on this daughter of American Pharoah. So a good race to close out the card. We're less than 12 minutes away from the Friday nightcap here at Keeneland.
The horses are entering the track for Keeneland's 10th and final race. A starter allowance for fillies and mares age 3 and up at 6.5 furlongs over the fast main track. Scratch the 1, Atara. Scratch the 2, Cowgirl Chic. And also scratch the 11, Miss L. $10,000 Toyota Super High 5 carryover. Post time at 7 minutes.
So on what has been a very eventful wagering afternoon here at Keeneland Racecourse with the big pick six carryover coming into the afternoon two-day carryover, there are two horses that are covered in the pick six, and we're showing both of them right now warming up, starting with the number 4 horse on the left side of the screen, Risuko for Carlos David. We've talked about this American Pharaoh filly putting together good races at Monmouth Park, most recently breaking her maiden just 2 starts back. And then the 7 horse Kentucky Smoke Show is the other horse covered in the pick six. She is 6-1 on the board right now, coming into this race off of a runner-up finish at Churchill Downs. She is entered in the upcoming Keeneland November sale as hip number 2088, looking to add to her CV, her resume here this afternoon. So look for her coming up at Keeneland November. The other interesting aspect of these will pays as far as the pick six is concerned is first and foremost, the favorite is not covered. The number 8 horse, Brunch with Amy. She would be one of the many 5 of 6s in this race. And also from a pick 5 perspective, very big payoffs in line there. The favorite in the pick 5 will pays is the number 4 horse, returning over $34,000. So perhaps we will see the price on the number 4 horse come down near post time here, as at 9-2. That is certainly an inflated price compared to the will pays, but nonetheless, an exciting time coming up for folks alive in either the pick 4, pick 5, or especially the pick 6, with just the 4 and 7 covered. And if either of those win, the pick 6 pays out over $400,000. We're less than 5 minutes away from race number 10 here at Keeneland. Good luck to all.
Horses have reached the starting gate for Keeneland's 10th and final race. Moving into line race 10. Brunch with Amy moves into line. Mom's Cheesecake. Bolt on the Rocks goes in. Give Her Another comes forward. Up the Creek, last one. Goes in, they're at the post. And they're off. There goes Kentucky Smoke Show from the outside. Rasuko to the inside. Bolt on the Rocks in between that pair. And now Bolt on the Rocks has the lead by a neck as they move up the backstretch. Rasuko to the inside second. Kentucky Smoke Show is third up on the outside. Followed by Brunch with Amy, center of the track in fourth. Give Her Another is between horses in fifth. Daisy Duke sixth against the rail. Mom's Cheesecake is in seventh. Up the creek, wide and last as they head on to the far turn. Bolt on the Rocks, the leader. Rasuko is there to the inside, and next separates those top two. 22.61 seconds was the time for the opening quarter. And then Kentucky Smoke Show, Brunch with Amy to the far outside. Give Her Another is toward their inside. Still running 3 lengths off the lead. Mom's Cheesecake up the creek. Daisy Duke is now last as they come toward the quarter pole. Rasuko leading as they move for the top of the stretch. Bolt on the Rocks a length away in second position. Brunch with Amy, Mom's Cheesecake up the creek. All start to fan out across the racetrack. Brunch with Amy, Mom's Cheesecake up the creek to the far outside. Rasuko, and now Give Her Another finds room from in between horses as well. Mom's Cheesecake coming forward to challenge Rasuko. Rasuko to the inside. Mom's Cheesecake is there on the outside. 16th pole. Give Her Another is in third. Up the creek is fourth. Rasuko fights on. Mom's Cheesecake puts ahead in front. Here's the wire. Mom's Cheesecake to win it by a neck. Rasuko was across the line in second, and then it was Give Her Another in third. Up the creek was fourth. Brunch with Amy was fifth.
Well, Rasuko was cruising around the turn in hand by under Irad Ortiz Jr., and it looked like she was going to be able to maintain that advantage based on the body language from Irad. He starts to get after the number 4 horse, and rightfully so. And over the top comes Mom's Cheesecake to spring yet another upset on this Friday card. Getting the victory here, a daughter of Gormley for SJS Stables and trainer Lacey Pierce. 9-4-6-10-8 to complete the Toyota Super High Five.
Unofficial results of Keeneland's 10th race. Number 9, Mom's Cheesecake, finished first. Number 4, Rasuko, was second. Number 6, Give Her Another, third. 10, Up the Creek, fourth. And 8, Brunch with Amy, fifth. 9, 4, 6, 10, 8, unofficial. In the winner's circle for Keeneland's 10th race, unofficial winner number 9, Mom's Cheesecake, owned by the SJS stables of Stephen J. Skorpanich, trained by Lacey Pierce, the jockey Vince Chaminade. Mom's Cheesecake, a 3-year-old filly by Gormley out of Uncle Steve's Girl by Eddington, bred in Kentucky by SJS stables. 1 minute 18.08 seconds for the 6.5 furlongs over the fast main track. Results of race 10 official. 9, 4, 6, 10, 8, the official results. Plate pick 5 pays on 5 of 5 with a consolation 4 of 5. The pick 6 pays on 5 of 6 with a $400,000 carryover. $408,657 the carryover for the pick 6 when live racing resumes here at Keeneland tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. No carryover for the Toyota Super High 5. Simulcasting will remain open for another 10 minutes. You may advance wager any races occurring after that time. For now, on behalf of Keeneland, thank you and good evening.